Sometimes it's a lot less echoey. Yeah. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good, thank you.
So before Mike and Courtney get on, I just wanted to tell you that Kellen just messaged me and said that him and his wife are going to have to cancel tonight. I guess his wife had some tests come up that she has to study for. But he's wondering if they can do it on Sunday instead. Would that work for you?
What time on Sunday?
He didn't tell me, but he said anytime afternoon. And we have church until 4, so I wouldn't be able to do it probably till close to 5 or later.
Okay, so it would be around about the same time as we have now.
Yes, it would be.
Okay, that's fine. The time that they were actually meeting, it actually works out better for me, even though like I would have like cut it close. But I have to go to work in 2 hours. So like their lesson would have had to end like at the exact at 50 minutes so that I could be able to travel to work. So at least now I'll be able to do that. But yeah, it's fine. If we can meet at around this time for them.
Okay, so do you want me to tell him like this time? So it's, what is it, 6 o'clock Idaho time?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just
6 or
sending
7.
Courtney the link right now.
Yeah.
For the Hangout. Okay, I will tell him that. I think that'll work for him. And then I told him that we were kind of cutting it short on the deadlines. And so he said next week if we wanted to schedule like back-to-back lessons, they'd be up for that.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah. So I think that would be good because I told him like, you know, it would add 45 minutes. So it'd be like an hour and a half as opposed to 45 minutes. And he was like, oh, that would work really well because they're super busy, I guess. So
if they have
easier for them
that they're available, then we can just do that.
Yeah, I told him this week, you know, lesson 2 probably wouldn't be approved yet by Sunday, you know, but the next week we should be able to do 2 lessons at one time. So hopefully that'll work for them.
That sounds good. And how is everything going on your side?
Good.
Son got his glasses. I saw on Facebook, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I was so happy to get those because then he like broke his other glasses. He had a pair, but they were really scratched up, so we needed to get him another one, but he broke them. And so like we really needed to get him glasses, and I'm glad that we had already ordered some. So kids with glasses is really no fun.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out the times thing and how it relates to me, but I think I figured out that you are 10 hours. I just looked at an email and you are 10 hours behind me. So if I use you as a measure, then that makes it easier for me to like set up like the times and things like that. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's kind of weird because like Arizona doesn't change times. And so Idaho does change time. So like now I'm on the same time zone as Idaho. is. So it's like I have to pay attention to that now, because when I lived in California, we changed times with the time change, you know. So like, it, you know, they were always just an hour ahead of me. But now, like, I'm glad that next semester is my last semester, because I'll just have to know, like, when the time change happens, I need to remember when it is, because it's going to affect, you know, the time in Idaho and when things are due and stuff.
It's a lot to think about, to try and figure out, oh, okay, you know, like it's either an hour earlier, an hour later.
Yeah. I sent Courtney the link, and it says she saw it, so hopefully she gets on soon.
So I had an idea about the video, videos from my side, because I know that we had a problem last time. I was wondering if I could send you the link of the video, and then when it's time to play the video on my presentation, if you can play it on your side, if that would work.
Yeah, that would actually be good. I could totally do that.
Okay. And then just to confirm, you're doing these 2 lessons, right? Oh, there we go.
Yes. Oh, there they are.
Hi.
Hi.
Guys.
Hi.
How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Thank you.
I'm glad you guys can make it.
Yes. Almost forgot, but yes.
I did that once before, so don't feel too bad. So this time I'm going to be presenting, and you guys have your paper and pencils?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I had emailed them ahead of time to have that, so that they're prepared this time, because before we didn't tell them what they needed. So like, I should probably tell them what they need. Okay, well, then we'll go ahead and get to the presentation. I'm just going to start sharing my screen with you. So this. So today we're calling this presentation relationship literacy skills. But we're just, you know, you guys had talked about being a little bit concerned with having a baby and how that might change your relationship a little bit. And so a little bit about some things you guys can do to, you know, and keep your relationship strong while. So you know, this is presented from me and Yanda, and we're under the supervision of Dr. Amanda Beal. So, blessing in our life, and I can honestly say that having children has strengthened my marriage in so many ways and has increased my love for my husband. However, having children has also been super challenging, and it's also challenged my marriage, and it's than I could have imagined. So I just wanted to start off by saying this so that I don't scare you, because having a baby is a beautiful and wonderful thing, but it is also stressful. If you can make your marriage a priority, having children will strengthen your marriage and family. But if you neglect your marriage, having children will have the opposite effect. So it's really important to do everything you can to not neglect your marriage. Some things that we can do to help strengthen our marriages before and after having children. So this is just a scripture from Psalms, and it says, "Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward." So these are just a few facts, I guess you could say. Let's see. Ayanda, do you want to read those for me?
Many couples become less satisfied in their marriage after the birth of their first child. In addition to the demands of parenting, other pulls of modern married life, work, cell phones, other electronics, social and entertainment media, and even friends and extended family contribute to a marital drift. Away from the excitement, hope, and promise of the wedding launch day and into strong and dangerous currents we don't necessarily understand or even sometimes notice until damage has been done to the couple connection. Of the possible listed reasons for divorce, drifting apart was selected 55% of the time in a research study on why people divorce.
Thanks, Yanda. So I just wanted to give these facts because I always think it's good to sort of review why it's important, at the beginning of our sessions with you guys, just to know why that it's important that we talk about these things. And as you can see from these facts, like after people have their first child, it can put a lot of stress on their marriage. And as you continue to have children and, life is very busy. And I know, Mike, you're in school and working, and Courtney, you're working, and it can be easy to kind of put your marriage on the back burner and not put it as your first priority. But it's really important to not do that and to stay united. So first, we're going to talk about friendship as the foundation. I was reading this book for my internship called Whole Fit Wellness for Life. And in the book, one of the contributors talks about this idea of being your spouse's best friend. So I really liked the points that this author shared. And so I just wanted to go over some of those. So best friends know each other. Share your interests with your spouse. Find interests you enjoy together. Best friends enjoy each other. Be playful with one another. Laugh with each other. Flirt. Best friends are good to each other. Do nice things for each other. Take note of your spouse's favorite things and recognize them and honor them. Always speak kind words about them. Best friends encourage and support each other. Be your spouse's cheerleader. Rejoice in their accomplishments. Defend your spouse to others. Best friends can rely on each other. Do what you say you will do, and let your spouse know that you can count on them. So I just really like this idea because I think about, like I have a best friend, and I would be all these things to them. I may not flirt with her, but I would do all these things. I can rely on my best friend, and I want my best friend to rely on me, and I would encourage and support my best friend. I would be kind to my best friend, and I wouldn't say anything bad about her. And I would, just be invested in their life. And so I think as we treat our spouse like our best friend, it can build our relationship. Courtney, would you read this quote on the side here?
Yes. Current research provides evidence that people who are married to their best friend report their satisfaction level is double that of other couples.
Thanks. So do you guys feel like you do a good job of fostering your friendship?
I think so. Yeah. He'll tell me every now and then that I am his best friend, so he voices it.
That's good. What would you say are some things you guys do to kind of build your friendship?
Just spending time together, cooking dinner with each other. Yeah. Going for walks. We talk. We always ask how each other's days went.
Go on mini dates.
Yeah.
Which is cute. Yeah.
Those are really good things to do. In fact, we're going to touch on some of those later in the presentation, but that's great. I'm glad that you guys, make time for each other every day. Mike, would you read this quote?
All right. Happy marriages are based on a deep friendship. By this, I mean a mutual respect for and enjoyment of each other's company. These couples tend to know each other intimately. They are well versed in each other's likes, dislikes, personality quirks, hopes, and dreams. They have an abiding regard for one another and express this fondness not just in the big ways, but through small gestures day in and day out.
Thanks. I like that quote because it talks about how the small gestures can make a big difference. Kind of reminds me of that scripture, by small and simple things, great things can come to pass. And I think as you do the things every day to help build your friendship, it will build your friendship. Now we're going to talk about increasing fondness and admiration. I'm not sure, but we probably mentioned book before to you guys. This book, I think it's called The 7 Principles to Make a Marriage Work. And I think we put it on your handout also that we're going to email you to you. But a lot of the information from this presentation comes from his book. He is like the foremost leading expert on marriage, and he talks about increasing fondness and admiration for each other. So, Courtney, would you read the quote?
Yeah. Fondness and admiration are two of the most crucial elements in a rewarding and long-lasting romance. Although happily married couples may feel driven to distraction at times by their partner's flaws, they still feel that the person they marry is worthy of respect.
Thanks. Yeah, I just love this idea of cherishing each other and having a fondness and admiration for your spouse. Do a little activity now relating to this fondness and admiration and increasing that for each other. So I want you guys to think of a characteristic that your spouse, and then think of a time when he or she has shown you this characteristic, exhibited this characteristic recently, and then make a statement about it. So in the example I have here, the characteristic is generous, and then the incident was my husband gave me a foot rub last night. So then the statement would be, thank you for rubbing my feet last night. I appreciate how generous you are. So if you guys would take a couple minutes and think of maybe one or two characteristics that you appreciate about each other, and then a time when your spouse has shown that to you recently, and then write down a statement about it, and then we're going to have you guys share it with each other.
Okay.
I'm actually going to stop screen sharing for a little bit while we do this.
Okay.
Characteristic, example, and then.
Do you want me to go back to the slide? Would that be helpful?
Just for 1 second, yeah.
Okay.
And then you can. Oh, characteristic. Oh, okay, he said it. We're good.
Okay.
My memory is not with me right now.
It's okay.
You have mommy brain.
Yeah.
Welcome to motherhood. And then you guys just let us know when you're done.
Okay. Would it be terrible to ask you to go back to the slide real quick?
No, not at all. I'll go back.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
No problem.
You ready? Oh.
How are you guys
ready.
doing? Are you ready, Mike?
Yeah.
You guys ready? Okay. I'll go back to see you guys then. All right. So who wants to go first?
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
So I chose perseverance. And I chose that because I know pregnancy is tough, and her job sucks a lot. And I know things have been kind of tough financially because I'm not getting as much work with school and whatnot. I mean, the statement would be that I've been pressing on and doing what needs to be done.
Oh, I think you guys cut out a little bit. Sorry. Are you guys there? Oh, now I hear you guys.
Hear us?
Could you repeat
Okay.
that, Mike? Sorry.
Do it again.
Oh man, it's really glitchy.
I think I may have heard him a little bit. I think he said that perseverance is one of Courtney's greatest strengths because of work and pregnancy and financially and everything, and she's been able to take that in her stride. I think
Okay.
it did cut out a little bit as well. But I think that's the gist of it.
Statement, Mike.
My statement was that I admire her fortitude and pressing on and doing what needs to be done. Really.
That was really good. So go ahead and share yours, Courtney.
I put he's very understanding and forgiving. I personally, like I mentioned before, have been very forgetful and just exhausted lately, and he'll help make dinner or for me, and I don't know, I really appreciate that because like I want to do everything myself and I can't always. So my statement was, thank you for not holding it against me, and your actions are greatly appreciated.
Thanks. Doesn't that feel good? Don't you guys just feel like super loved right now? So I really love this exercise. I did this, it's an exercise out of Dr. Gottman's book, and I did this for my husband. Took this marriage class a couple semesters ago, and I felt like it really did increase my fondness for my husband. I had some for the youth of our ward for like this retreat thing that we did. And I had parents who told me that they, like, at first they were like, oh my gosh, because I had them do 5. And they were like, at first I was like, oh, how am I going to come up with 5? But then they said after they started, they just wanted to keep going. And they just loved how it made them feel about their kids. And so I would just encourage you guys to do that from time to time, and even, you could do it on a weekly basis. But it really helps you to feel for your spouse. Screen share again. I can start the presentation back again. Okay, there it goes. So prayer is a really great time that you can do this. I had a class where we had to meet up every week, and one of the people in my class was actually a bishop, and he said that when he and his wife were married, were counseled to, in their couples prayer, express gratitude for each other. If they took turns, like, whoever was saying the prayer would say something that they appreciated about their spouse that they did for them that day. And it's exactly like this activity we just did. And so my husband and I started doing that since my classmate told me that, and I just love it. And it's kind of like how you guys are feeling right now. That's how I was feeling. That's how I feel every time my husband says something nice about me. And especially when it's more than just like, you know, my wife's a great wife and mother. I'm appreciative for her, but it's something like specific from that day. Like I appreciated that my wife did the laundry today, and I appreciate that she folded the clothes and put them all away, and you know, something like that. Even though it's like it might be something completely mundane, and it's nice to know that even those regular things are appreciated. Sorry, I didn't set that back up. So let's see. Ayanda, could you read that quote for me?
Sure. I know of no single practice that will have a more solitary effect upon your lives than the practice of kneeling together as you begin and close each day. Somehow the little storms that seem to afflict every marriage are dissipated when kneeling before the Lord. You thank him for one another in the presence, and then together invoke his blessings upon your lives, your home, your loved ones, and your dreams. God then will be your partner. And your daily conversations with him will bring peace into your hearts and a joy into your lives that can come from no other source. Your companionship will sweeten through the years. Your love will strengthen. Your appreciation for one another will grow. I really like this as well. And I think like mentioning the thing that you said, like expressing gratitude for each other is a wonderful thing. And I think one of the times that we're most sincere is when we are praying before the Lord, you know. So sometimes we might not fully appreciate or even believe our spouses, but I think I know personally that we've also expressed apologies, our genuine feelings to the Lord and to our spouse when we pray for each other. So I think in addition to expressing gratitude for them, it's just so nice because it feels so much more real, because you wouldn't lie to the Lord about how you feel about someone if you don't really feel that way.
Yeah, thank you, Ayanda. And I mean, I think it helps you to, I mean, you guys are married in the temple, so you have a covenant marriage, and part of that covenant marriage is having a partnership with each other, but also with the Lord. And so doing that prayer together, and it's like Ayanda was saying, like just being honest about things with the Lord and appreciating each other before the Lord, and even apologizing to each other before the Lord. It really helps bring him in as your partner in your marriage, and it's just a really special time. So make time together a priority. I know you guys said that you already do some of these things together, and I'm really glad that you guys do that because it will help strengthen your relationship. Eat dinner together every night, together each day to discuss what happened during your day. The calendar. Intimacy. I know sometimes it seems like on the back burner, but if you put that on your calendar first, fill that in, then you'll always have time for each other. Especially once your baby comes and more children come, life just gets very busy. So it's really important to make another priority. Anyway, do you mind reading this quote?
Who?
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Could you read this quote, Courtney?
Yes, sorry. Cherishing is a habit.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Cherishing is a habit in which, when you are separated during the course of the day, you maximize thoughts of your partner's positive qualities and minimize thoughts of the negative ones. This active focusing on your partner's merits allows you to nurture gratefulness for what you have instead of resenting what is missing.
Thanks. Yeah, I like this idea of cherishing each other, and I think it's spouse or being fond of them, because I feel like you could admire something in the moment, but cherishing your spouse is sort of like an overall feeling about your spouse, and it goes beyond just when your spouse isn't even around. It's probably something you did a lot when you were dating. You probably spent a lot of time thinking about each other and, you know, cherishing all the qualities that you loved about each other. And so it's really important to continue doing that throughout your marriage. So we're going to do this activity to kind of help you cherish your spouse. I'd like you each to make a list of, let's see, 10 qualities you love and appreciate about your spouse. So we'll take a couple minutes for you guys to do that.
Just one word.
Just one word qualities. And you can even use the ones you already used if you want. Let me know when you guys have those done.
Yeah.
How's it going? You guys about done?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys don't have to share them with each other right now because I'm actually going to give you guys a little bit of homework.
Good.
Our homework this week, sometime, I'd like you guys to take that list and to write your spouse a love letter and express gratitude for those traits. And you can give specific examples like, we did in that activity, but having the 10 qualities, I think, just helps you to really cherish your spouse because you're seeing, the quality of your spouse, and it'll make you cherish your spouse for who they are because you'll start to see really positive things about their personality as you do that. So now we're going to move on to conflict management. This is an important part of, having a healthy marriage. So the first part of this we're going to talk about is apocalypse. And this is the term that Dr. Gottman uses in his book. And it's kind of the idea that if you do these things, it will doom your marriage, especially the conversation, but it could doom your marriage entirely if you continually do these things when you're in conflict. So the first one is criticism, which is expressing a negative statement about your spouse's character or personality. Now, this is different from a complaint, which expresses dissatisfaction with an event or behavior. So criticism is attacking their character, but a complaint is just expressing like that they did. Like if you said, I don't like that you leave your dirty socks on the floor, that is a complaint. But if you're saying, I hate that you're so sloppy, that sort of thing, that's a criticism. So contempt is the second one. Contempt is, I have some examples here: eye rolling, sarcasm, mockery, hostile humor, or disgust. And it comes from a feeling of superiority over your spouse. Defensiveness is the third one, which you guys probably could guess. It's blaming your partner or saying it's not my fault. And then stonewalling is the last one. and that is the silent treatment, looking away or ignoring your spouse. And I can honestly say I didn't realize that stonewalling was a bad thing until I read these from Dr. Gottman, because I just kind of thought like, oh, if you don't have anything nice to say, you shouldn't say anything at all. Not a very mature way of handling a situation, and it's not accomplishing anything. So I think that's important to think about when you're in conflict is, you know, let's like, you know, try to be mature, and you want to get to a resolution, you know. So I want to see if we can practice. We have like a little activity here, and you guys can tell me which of the 4 horsemen you think this is, okay?
Okay.
So your partner says, whatever, and walks away and rolls their eyes. So which one do you think this is? What did you say, Courtney?
Said like either contempt or stonewalling?
Yes, contempt. Exactly, because they roll their eyes and it's kind of sarcastic and, you know, flippant or whatever. Good job, Courtney. Well, you never do the dishes. Why is it always my job? What would you say this one is?
Getting defensive.
Exactly. Good job, Mike. The next one is your spouse says something rude and leaves the other spouse in disbelief. The offended spouse walks away and does not acknowledge the other spouse for the next hour.
Stonewalling.
What one is this?
Yeah, that sounds like
Stonewalling. Perfect. Good. How could you just forget to pay the credit card bill? You are so irresponsible.
criticism.
Right. Good job, guys. You guys get 100%. A+. So fighting fairly. So these are some things you should do when you guys are in conflict, because conflict's going to happen. I mean, it just is. We're not perfect people. So we need to learn what we should do when we're in conflict. So one of the things that Dr. Gottman talks about is softening your startup. Startup is how you start your conversation. In his book, he talks about harsh startups. Usually the way a conversation starts is a good indication of the direction it's going to take. If you have a problem with your spouse and you start a conversation using one of the 4 horsemen, the conversation will probably not end well. It's better to soften your startup. So these are a few things that he recommends, which is take some of the responsibility rather than placing all the blame on your spouse. If you say, you know, I'm sorry that I wasn't more clear about this, but I noticed ... whatever it is, that's you taking some of the blame. If you're putting all the blame on your spouse, it doesn't generally make them feel, because it might create them defensiveness in them, I guess you could say. Better to just try to take some of the responsibility. And then to be polite and be appreciative, you know, you could always say, if your spouse did something you don't like, you could always say, you know, I appreciate you trying to do the laundry, but I noticed that, you know, you put bleach in my blacks or whatever, you know what I mean? You could, but just trying to be appreciative for their effort in it, even if they did it wrong, but showing some appreciation. And then using I statements, which I think we talked about those before, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the first one?
Yes, in the first one, I think we did. So those are good to use instead of use statements, because it is less accusatory and it'll make them less defensive. Repair attempts. We're not perfect, and even knowing what you have learned here today, you will probably still make some mistakes in arguing and will likely use one or more of the 4 horsemen, because I know I do. This is why repair attempts are so important to de-escalate a situation. They might be in the form of an apology or even in the form of humor. Do you guys have some way that you lighten the tension when you're having a conflict?
He likes to think that he's funny, like right now.
So my husband does that too.
Yeah.
But just some way, like start trying to feel with the conversation. has taken like a really negative turn, just some way that you kind of help to repair it and make it less tense, I guess.
Like, if I'm being honest, sometimes I'll do like
Go
the
ahead, Courtney.
stonewalling. Yeah, no, just sometimes I do the stonewalling because I feel like if I don't, then I might say something that I regret without thinking. But then he comes up with the humor where I decide, like, okay, I can apologize first. Like, I can swallow my pride. Like, it's okay, you know, to be wrong every now and then. Like, you don't always have to be right way. Just because it wasn't your way doesn't mean it's the wrong way. So,
right. And you know what? We're actually going to talk about that in a second, but it's when I know, like, I did that too, and I even still sometimes find myself stonewalling, and I'm like, oh, I'm stonewalling. I need to not do that. But it's really good to, like, recognize when you're feeling what Dr. Gottman calls flooded, which is, like, just flooded with emotion, where this negative emotion is just overcome you, whether it be anger or whatever it is, and to recognize that and kind of help yourself calm down. So I think that's on my next slide. Yes, so don't get overly flooded with emotion. Take deep breaths. This book I'm reading right now for my internship talks about belly breathing. About that before, but it's the idea where you breathe in through your nose really, really deep, and then as you breathe in, you push your belly out so that your lungs can fill up completely, and then you breathe out through your mouth. And kind of doing that, I know it seems like so silly, but it kind of helps to bring the because in those moments you're so inside your head, you know, and of your head even, and you're just so angry. And so when you do these deep breaths like this, these belly breaths, it kind of helps to into your body and sort of like get oxygen into your brain, and it helps you to think more clearly, and it helps regulate your heart rate, and it just really helps you to calm down. Don't escalate your spouse's emotions. Like, if you see them getting mad, don't like poke at them, you know, don't like try to escalate it, because that's not helpful either, you know. And if you see your spouse is getting to the point where they're very flooded, like, try to help calm them down, you know, rub their shoulders or give a repair attempt, you know, something to kind of calm the situation down. And even sometimes you might have to take a time out from the conversation, but don't stonewall, you know?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does.
Cool. Ayanda, would you read this quote?
Your future together can be bright, even if your disagreements tend to be very negative. The secret is learning the right kind of damage control.
Thanks. I like that quote from Dr. Gottman, because I think, you know, we all have disagreements, and it's good to know that even if our disagreements can be really negative, that if we can learn to give those repair attempts, you know, by saying I'm sorry, by trying to just make the conversation more positive, you know, that damage control, we can make things better.
Yeah. I just wanted to add something with regards to that as well. Like, I remember when we first got married, we attended an institute class, and the couple that taught had been married for like 60 years, and they had never had a fight, like, ever. And I had like more fights, it seems, with my husband already than they had said that they had. And I was like, I felt so bad about my marriage. I thought that my marriage was doomed and whatever. And then came across the information that Dr. Gottman shared, that many couples have different interactions. Some couples, he observed, would shout at each other, like, but that was not a predictor of divorce. The way that they dealt with things like that was not a predictor of divorce, but the predictor of divorce was actually just those 4 horsemen. So if we can get that right, like you said, Chantal, even though we will have disagreements, because our marriage won't be perfect, we won't always have like the marriage we never, ever, ever fight, but at least we can fight nicely.
Thank you for sharing that. It's so true. And you almost wonder if into the marriage, if they just don't share, like maybe they just don't feel comfortable enough to like give their real opinions about things, you know?
Yeah.
So in a way, you should feel proud that you feel like sharing with your spouse. So I love this quote. It says, when you have kids, there's a tendency to put the marriage stew on the back burner and give it a quick stir now and then. But it's important to remember why you had children with this person. I actually had a friend she has 3 children, and they're 5, 3, and 1, because they're close to my kids' age. And she and her husband never go out, and they never do anything. And their kids are at the center of their lives, and their marriage is really struggling because of it. And she always says, well, this is just a season of our lives. But the truth is, after you have children, you're always going to have children. And even someday you're going to have grandchildren. And, life down after you have kids. And so you have to remember to, put your marriage in the forefront and don't let it just get drowned out by everything else in your life. Like, always make it a priority and don't just put it on the back burner. And so I just want you guys to remember those lovey-dovey feelings that you have for each other, and never lose those butterflies in your tummy. And just remember why you wanted to have children with this person, and always make time for each other. That is the end of my presentation. So I just wanted to, oops, this is the right one. You know what, this is the right one, but I forgot to change this real quick. But I just wanted to go over the homework assignment with you guys. Sorry. So obviously we talked about writing a love letter to each other from those 10 traits that you listed. And then try to find one thing to be grateful for each other and express it to your spouse. I'm giving a specific incident. And then the last one on here is pray together each day and express gratitude in your prayer. So, you can do this second one in your prayer. But it's good to think about it ahead of time, because if you get into your prayer and you don't plan, be able to think of something genuine to say, and you might just say something generalized, but it's really good to state something specific, because it's really more meaningful that way. And then I just have a few links here for you guys if you're interested. This is a talk that was in the Leahona magazine on conflict resolution, and it's really good. And then this is a link to sign up for the Marriage Minute from Dr. Gottman from his institute. An email every week, and it'll have a few things that you can do, a few tips and maybe an exercise in there. And then this is a link to my blog if you're interested in reading it, that I did for the marriage class that I took. So that's it. Do you guys have any questions?
I don't think so.
This one.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for working with us.
And there's one more after this, right?
Yep, one more.
Yeah, that's one more,
and
yeah.
Yanda will be teaching that one. And do and find out when a good day is to meet up.
Okay. Schedules.
Yeah.
But yeah, good.
Okay. Well, thanks for meeting with us, and we'll see you guys.
Yeah, thanks,
soon.
guys.
Guys, have a good night.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
you too.
Bye.
Enjoy your evening. Bye.
All right.
That went really, really well. I thought that I was taking some notes during the lesson, and I thought, I think this lesson just helped them to be more expressive of their love and their affection towards each other. And I saw that they came together. I could see Mike's face. I was like, yay! Yeah, it was really, really good. Well done. I think you did an awesome job with regards to that.
Thanks.
Oh, and I also liked that they were like, because I was following along, like I opened the PowerPoint on my side. I think you added a few more activities. So there was like interaction with them instead of like a long spurt of like reading quotes and whatever. But like the little activities in between kind of helped keep their attention, and they were like facing the screen, and they were there and they were engaged. And I think that's something that I'll do in mine as well, just add a few activity, obviously not deviate from what Sister Beale approved, but just a little bit more interaction with them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's good. It kind of breaks it up, and you feel like you're doing less. It's not like lecturing, you know, you feel like there is more interactive and more of like an active learning experience for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think this is awesome because this particular lesson is something that they can start applying now in their lives, and it's very simple but very effective. So yeah, that was awesome.
Thanks. All right, well, so then you said Sunday would work for you at like 6 o'clock?
Yeah, honestly, I would prefer 7, but if 6 is what works for them, then that's fine. If they
I think 7
want
would be fine. They said any time afternoon, so 7 would probably be good.
Okay, all right. Yeah, because 6 is 3 a.m. and then 7 is 4 a.m. So at least, yeah, then at least I can like wake up and get ready for work, and then meet with them, and then I can be able to go to work afterwards.
Okay, I will ask them. Hopefully 7 will work.
Yeah,
I'm sure it will. I'm sure it'll be good.
Yeah. So I just want to finish my assignments for the week, and then I'm just going to start working on lesson 4 for them. I'm very hopeful that that will be done soon. Probably Monday, but most likely Tuesday.
Okay, no worries.
Because I just have to have a big chunk of like 4 hours or more to be able to do it. So yeah. But yeah, that should be it.
Okay, I know those lessons are so time consuming. It's like, you know, it's nice that we have all these breaks now. Like we don't have any assignments for the next 2 weeks. During the week, we don't even have reading. That's really nice, but it would have been nice earlier. Like, because it's been hard trying to get these lessons done and do our other classwork, you know.
Yes, and other classes as well, and family and life, and yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. So I will see you. It's already Saturday with me, so it's tomorrow for me, and it is, yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
See you in the next lesson.
Okay, see you later. Bye.
Okay, bye.